What's going on, girls? In this video, we are going to talk about reading the defense. We're going to talk about defensive pressure and the different types of defensive pressures that we can see. One of the things that we talk about a lot is, and that we want to develop as a team going forward, is being able to slow down the game. And by slow down the game, what that means is being able to play the game at your speed. Not slower than you are, but being able to play the game at your pace that you've practiced at, and not being sped up. And we've said that in practice, that if you can speed a team up and make them play faster than they're accustomed to, they will make a lot of mistakes. And those mistakes that they make, you will be able to capitalize on. Whether it's an 8-second violation or an errant pass thrown out of bounds, or a pass to a teammate and it goes off the teammate's hands, or you dribble off their foot, or they drive to the hoop super fast and charge into a defender. When you speed up a team, or when you're sped up as an offensive player, that's when you really get yourself into trouble. So in this video, I'm going to point out some of the mistakes that Bateman make due to pressure, and the adjustments that they could have made to alleviate the pressure, skills that they would most likely have to work on in the offseason so that next year they're better able to handle pressure. And again, we're going to talk about how, going forward, we as a team can deal with different pressure situations. So let's get this video started right now. So in this video, MEI has just scored, and the offense now needs to figure out whether they know or not at this point. In my opinion, they don't know what defense MEI is currently playing, because we know that, and I'll ask you this question: how many times do we change our defense in a game? How many times do we change defenses in a game? Let's talk about those defenses. So what kind of defenses can be played? Well, we know that there is full court defenses, full court man, where we pick up our check, whether we're in the pockets or we're in rotations. There is half court man, okay, where players, offensive players, their defenders are picking them up at the half court as they come across half court. There is certainly full court zones, whether it's a 1-2-2 or a 2-1-2 or a 2-2-1 or a 1-1-1-2, whatever it may be. On scores, you may see defensive players immediately set up in the pressure that they're applying, full court zone, or it might be a half court zone like a 2-3 to take away drives and defend a key, or a 3-2. Maybe they want to take away shooters. Maybe they want to take away the three-point shooters, so they play a 3-2 and start putting defenders in zones around the three-point line to contest all those shots. Maybe they play a 1-4-1. Look to pressure more of the passing lane because they're playing against a team that likes to move the ball or likes to, off the ball, catch and drive. So there's, again, different type of pressures. We're going to look at MEI to see what type of pressure they're playing in this particular possession right now. And it's another pressure that we're most likely to see a lot going forward. And we'll start that up right now. So the guard, who is, I would say out of a 10, maybe is a 5 as far as her ball handling skills. And it's only because she makes mental errors on our team, I mean, she probably is a great ball handler with no one around her, with no pressure, and she makes good reads. But as soon as you put pressure on her, she makes those mistakes that all ball handlers who have a hard time handling pressure make, and that's this. Picks up the ball. And I'll pick on Jayla because she makes this mistake, and I've talked to her a little bit about it. It's a skill that you will develop, but you need to kind of start developing it quickly and figuring out and seeing where you made that mistake. So watching game film and watching yourself make that mistake, and then maybe watching the defense and trying to determine how you cannot make that mistake. Because some players are skilled enough to add this ability with little to no reps. Some players need to get into a gym and repeat against, whether it be a fake pressure or no pressure, or like a real pressure, like actually having maybe 3 people in the gym, you and 2 of your friends dribble across the court and face a double team. And just being able to handle the ball and control it at your pace and tempo. Okay, so picking up the ball is a common mistake for a 5 rating ball handler. All of a sudden, if she didn't pick the ball, she might move up to like a 7 rating ball handler, maybe even more. Okay, because she can handle the pressure and not panic. And this is usually a panic issue, or if it's not a panic issue, it's a not being prepared when you see these types of defenses. So this defense here, a double team, a half court double team, we might see a full court double team, but we're going to see double teams. Okay, so doubles. So different types of defenses all the way through the court. How do you manage those defenses? Well, we always talk about the 3 elements of an offense. I don't talk about with you a lot. I've said it to you in the past, and you should know this by now as a senior. What 3 building blocks do you need for an offense to be successful? I'm not talking about scoring right now. We're talking about 3 elements for a team to have success in an offense. You need ball movement, passing. You need player movement, cutting, getting open, and you need spacing. Not crowding together, not allowing defense to defend more than one person at a time. Okay, so now we know that the second pressure a ball handler or a mistake ball handlers like to make is they may throw the wrong type of pass, or they may throw it in the wrong way. So the wrong way in this particular video here is she jumps to try to make that pass. And we know that that's a skill that's not taught. No one should be jumping to make a pass unless it's an advantage pass where the teammate that you're throwing it to is 1-on-0, meaning they don't have any defender and you're just trying to get that more power into that pass. And you don't have any defense on you. And there are other reasons too why making jump pass is okay. But for the most part, it's never a great pass, because there's always a better pass than a jump pass. In this particular case, the better pass would have been a bounce pass around the defender on the low side, around her left leg to number 5. That would have been a safe pass if she has the skills to make it. But we'll get there. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So let's talk about the defense. So let's set this play here. She's bringing it across the court. So first off, what does pressure do? It speeds up the game. And when I talk about it, I always say, look, I don't want them to have a 24-second shot clock. I don't want them to be able to get the ball up the court in 3 seconds, have 0 pressure, and then have 20 seconds left to take the perfect shot. We want pressure. We want them to race 8 seconds and then get it into half court and still be pressured and shoot with still 10 seconds left on the clock. Really, only having 8 seconds to run any type of quality shot is really not enough time. In this particular case, she jogs the ball up the court, and first point I want to make out is reading the defensive pressure. On inbounds, What should everyone on the court be doing and off the court, the bench players be doing? They should be communicating what type of pressure they see. Man, we're in man, they're in man. They're in man, they're in half court man, half court man, half court man. Communicating to each other, half court man, half court man. Okay? Watch the double team, watch the double team. Watch the double team, watch the double team. Okay, communication is key. So now in the first 4 seconds, right about here, she's used 4 seconds of her shot clock. We're going to focus on the top, her teammate on the top side of the court. So her teammate right here is open for the pass. But she's in a spot where she can be trapped. So the pressure won't end there. So she's standing in a part where she can get the pass, but she's in a spot where you don't want to be in, which is the trapping corners. Okay? So not a good option. So the guard didn't give it to her there. But you know the guard wants to go to her because she's looking up and to her left. Her eyes are up and to her left on that teammate. So clearly that's her primary teammate. On the bottom side, she knows that, okay, she's not going to come to me because she's not looking at me. So eye contact. We talk about eye contact. We talk about eye contact on offense. The girl on the bottom is seeking eye contact. She's not getting it, so she's not ready for the pass. The girl on the top is making eye contact, but she's not in a position to receive a pass. Good job for the guard not throwing a pass, because two problems here. Her defender is sagging off and is kind of in that passing lane. And the pass option that she's trying to make is being defended. And the defender likely can get a hand in that passing lane to defect that ball. And the method in which the first wing, the top wing, took to get open was a front cut. Not the best method to get open. Common method in a read and react offense is the front cut and then have someone fill up, which didn't happen. So that front cut should have continued through, which it is, but her teammate didn't fill high. So if you look at the top side teammate, she didn't fill to the high part, to the high wing, to the spread wing part. That, and at the same time that front cut happened, it's kind of got slowed down here. The guard is running out of time. So now she's at the 6 second mark, and you can see the ref is counting it. He had his hands out, so he's counting the seconds. Here's where pressure begins to force turnovers and force errors. Is the guard realizes, I got to get this across half court. And she sprints into a double team. She actually drives what looks to be about 3 + 3 + 3, 9 feet into a double team right there. Again, it's, she'll get better at it. I'm certain, hopefully she gets better at it. But she gets it across the court and then picks it up the ball. So she sprinted, picked up the ball, and jumped all at the same time to try to throw a pass over top of 7-foot hands. And if you look at the defender who is right now inside the 3-point line, we'll call her the post defender, ball side, the low side of this video. She is the whole time reading the eyes of the ball handler. She is reading the eyes of the ball handler. And as soon as she sees her pick it up and begin to throw it, she sprints. She doesn't jog. She sprints that passing lane. She gets her right hand out, deflects that ball down, smacks that ball down to get possession, to get control, keeps her foot in bound, and is up court. And on a side note, if she were to pick this ball up, here's where you can use a jump pass. Right off her left foot, if she were to jump and be able to gather that ball with two hands, her teammate's already transitioning in a fast break. If she were able to throw that ahead, it would have been a score. That's next level stuff right there. And that girl is lucky enough to be able to play at the next level. She has offers. So, reading the defense, how do we mitigate from ball pressure the double team? So first off, when she comes across the court here Does she need to go any further? No. Her primary defender is on her hip, so she has ball control, and she has full protection of that ball. She can stop right there. She can allow the pressure to come to her. We talk about pressure. Is she looking down right now? She's kind of looking down at maybe the feet of the pressure, the double team. She's kind of looking down. She's not really looking. She sees pressure, and when you see the pressure coming, it seems to feel like it's going to come 10 times as fast. Now, but if she were to dribble and be able to ball handle without looking down and at the ball, but up at everybody, she could better handle the pressure. She's also thinking, and these are my guesses. Obviously, I can't read her mind. But she's also thinking she has to pass the ball. And that is common. Okay? She has already made a decision where she's going to pass the ball because she didn't go here on this side where eyes are looking. Now she's got to come to this side, and she thinks she has to go to this wing. Okay? We know that traps at the top, at the logo, are trying to force passes to the wing. Traps at the logo are trying to force passes to the wing, and then teams that successfully force passes to the wing want their interior players to be able to rob those passes to the wing. I mean, I run this play with my 10-year-olds successfully without even really repping it in practice. It's just a strategy because it's common that players will panic and think that the wings are their only options in this play. Okay? And kudos to number 14 for having the athletic ability to get to that pass. But let's talk about the wings in this situation. Again, we're talking about reading pressure, and now we're trying to break down how to handle half-court pressure. How to handle half-court pressure. So before we talk about the bottom wing, let's talk about the top wing. Okay, we talked about her front cutting, trying to get open. She got stuck there. She should have been able to sprint through that faster, and she should be telling her teammate to fill. Too late now. Earlier than that, you kind of want to get that ball out of the middle, come up on a wing side. See what the defense does. See how they react. Okay, but let's talk again about the top side wing. How about a ball screen? We see that there's half-court pressure. Does the guard want a ball screen? Guard would call for it. Ball screen, ball screen. Give a fist. Get a ball screen there. Now, off of that ball screen in the middle, if the top wing sets a ball screen in the middle right there, the ball handler can use now the left lane. Okay? If the primary defender of the ball screen, whatever number is, number 9, stays with the ball, fights through the screen, stays with it, clearly she's going to have a double team in the corner, but will be able to move it to the girl that she wanted to give the ball to in the first place. If she just spaces away off of that screen and uses the sideline, which becomes the middle line court. Okay, so she just shifts over and shades the sideline. We talk about it as step-in area. She'll be able to get relief and have that ball in the middle of the court, and they'll be scrambling. Doesn't mean that numbers 5 or 6 on the bottom side here doesn't kind of sprint up and take that away. But again, we talk about control and seeing the court and seeing all the players and being able to handle a double team with your head up looking where you have space. You may have ability to drive and just to simply dribble around the double team. Okay, a skill that is necessary. Okay, so ball screen didn't happen. Second thing, V cut for space. Does she V cut for space? So right here, she's looking at her. It's not a V cut, it's a front cut. So we need a V cut going down, maybe the backside of the defender. Get behind her, The defender then has to turn her hips and cover, and then she quickly plants her foot and comes back up for the pass. Again, a V-cut is something you would learn at a very young age that needs to be repeated in practice. And we do need V-cut reps in practice, so remind me, we need 5 minutes of V-cut reps. Okay, and getting open off of that stuff. Now, she didn't do that. How about clearing out? How about just bring the defender, and this is important. This is a game of chess. Where you move, they should move. So if she clears out and maybe comes to the right side corner, or maybe she goes to the middle free throw zone and clears space, does that allow for a better action to happen? Okay. Moving on to the wing on the bottom side, because now we're in a situation where the pressure is tough and her head is down and she's reacting off of being sped up. The wing needs to realize, and this is where one person cannot be the only person reading the defense. We cannot just have Jade reading the defense. Cannot just have one person reading the defense. As soon as Vobia, Ankita, Sophia, Jayla, Janelle are able to read their defenders, they can then move, like on a chessboard, into a different square to space away from the defense that made a decision. And it's always about what decision is the defender going to make. So let's talk about the bottom side wing option. She right now, let's just pretend that she's actually reading her defender. We know that she did not read her defender because she did not make the correct action based on what her defender did. Right now, her defender right here is guarding her. Her hand is up, pointing at her check. She's in the gap, and she's got ball. She's got ball and check. She's in guns. Right here, she's still in guns because the ball has not crossed half yet. As soon as ball crosses half, boom. Coach says you're responsible. As soon as ball crosses half, you come up for the double. Sprint into that double team, which she did not do. She just stepped into it. She just stepped into a trap. She didn't leave her check. She just turned and took a trap stance on the choice. Rewind. If the ball handler went the other way, I bet the other side defender, the top side defender, would have did a turn and trap stance as well. But she didn't. So she came this way, turn and trap stance. And the ball handler dribbled into that. Okay, really not having to. She could have stayed right here. And look at all the spacing she would have had. Just if she stayed in a low dribble stance, protected the ball, and not moved any further forward. We call that a step in, don't we? You can step in without the ball, and you can step in with the ball. You step in, handle the ball, control the pressure. Okay, so now we're talking about the wing 2, the bottom side wing, number 5 here in black. If she's reading her check and watching what her check is deciding to do and in control of her check, then as a team, you'll be better at handling pressure defense. It doesn't matter what kind of pressure defense. So right here, had number 5 read that her defender leaves to trap, number 5 would have backpedaled into where she is right now. That way, her teammate could have made a nice, easy bounce pass to her right here. Very safe area to be because you can't trap 10 feet away from the side, from the corners. Because, again, she could use it to get away, around it, blah, blah, blah. There's many. We won't go into that. But she sees you left, number 5. But what number 5 does instead is she keeps moving. She kept moving into a spot that made it easy for number 14 to rob her. And that was the setup action of this pressure. Number 14 is her read, her job is as soon as the passer goes up to pass, she must sprint and take away that passing lane. Right as soon as that she comes up, there she goes. Soon as the ball leaves, and there she goes. She's got to take away that pass. And sometimes, that ball is going to travel faster. Do we want that ball to travel faster? What does that do? Again, it speeds everything up. Had this girl whip that ball, maybe it's too fast for number 5 to catch. Throw it out of bounds. Unnecessary stuff. The right pass she should have made is just a simple bounce pass, a wraparound pass around the low side defender's number 5's left leg. And if number 5 on offense, that might be number 6. If number 5 on offense just backpedals here, we get that ball. And the two of them, maybe they just play a 2-man game. Maybe 5 gets the ball here because she realizes and backpedals and gets the ball. And then maybe the double team comes from somewhere else and the guard and the wing play together to play keep away. Okay? Or maybe number 5 has a space off of the catch, the correct catch, to drive to the hoop. Now, if you look on the low side, you got number 5, you got the post player who's just being cut off. You kind of see her legs. And then you have number 14 sitting in a stance there. If the guard gets the ball to 5, you have a 2 versus 1. You have a 2 versus 1 situation, which is what we practice every day. Every time at practice, we practice our 2v1s. Number 5 drives. If 14 decides to cover the drive, it leaves the pass open. If 14 stays at the rim, number 5 just attacks the rim. If number 14 decides to take away the pass, and number 5 keeps going to the rim. You play how we read the closeout, the pressure. But unfortunately, then it broke down there. Okay? Even more importantly, let's say this pass does get through with the correct pass versus the wrong pass. Number 14's already committed to trying to rob that. With the correct pass, there's no way she steals that pass because a low wraparound bounce pass, the only option is number 14 knocks it out of bounds. Now, number 5, let's say number 5 gets it right here. We know that number 5 has her teammate on the right side there, no defender on her. Now look in the middle of the key. What does she have? She has a teammate in the middle of the key. Let's just say that's Sophia. Well, we know Sophia is great at sealing out any try to help defenders there. So Sophia is likely going to take away 1, possibly 2 with the box out. That leaves a 3-on-0 offensive play there. That only happens if you're in control and not being forced to speed up. And that only happens if you can handle the pressure from a double team. Okay? And be able to keep that girl on your hip and let that double team come to you and make the correct pass. Okay? Do I like it when Jade tries to handle this pressure with her dribbles? Sometimes, but not really. Because the advantage isn't going to be Jade handling or dribbling around this stuff as much as it's going to be about one of the elements, which is ball movement. And as a team, we attack pressure to get advantage situations, 2-on-0, 2-on-1, 3-on-0, 3-on-1, 3-on-2. And we play those situations and we move the ball to the best shot possible. Ball movement. Intelligence right here. She gets to here with a step in. She stops here. She keeps her on her hip, waits for that double team. Maybe she dribbles around that double team to make that pass to 5. Clearly, if she makes the right pass, 14 still comes and it's a creative situation. What other things could the bottom wing have done? So one of the things I had posted on the notes I sent out, spacing. Again, it's all about spacing, and we talk about her backpedaling on that drive. Number 5, by her moving forward into the space, allows 14 to cover 2 players. Number 5 moved closer to 14, so it made the distance less further to travel, if that's the right organization of those words. And it allowed her to also guard the post player who is just hovering, not really making a play on her spacing. Think of it as a chessboard. Do you want your pieces to actually move to where they need to move to be effective, or to just randomly hover and not move and just be randomly placed where they can be captured or defended? Okay, so I'm going to use Vobia as an example because she is such a talented defender, probably one of the best defenders at the grade 10 level in the entire province. Probably one of the best defenders in the entire province, and can only get better. And probably top 25 offensively. On good days, even higher than that. When she wants to dominate, even higher than that, and will only get better. If that's Vobia, Vobia needs to make number 14 make a decision that is detrimental, that is so hard to make. Where she's standing right now is an easy decision for 14 to make. I'm just going to take away that pass because I can recover. It's easy. Now, had Vobia moved down to the low post or just literally under the hoop and played the 3-second rule, now 14 has to decide, do I stay with my check, who is wide open for the easiest basket on the planet, or do I cover what coach asked that we execute, which is robbing the wing pass? Because clearly the coach is asking them to execute this pass. You have to put your defenders in situations where they need to make a decision, and you can only do that when you read them, when you look at their head and look at their eyes. Look at 14's eyes right now. What is she more focused on than anything? She's 100% focused on the ball. She's 100% focused on making her read to steal that pass. They talk about this in college games. Analysts talk about this. Coaches talk about this. Former players talk about this. When you're off ball and your defender turns their head is exactly when you need to cut. You should be reading your defender's eyes and head and see what they're thinking about. Where their eyes and their head are turned is what they're thinking about. And you need to cut. And you need to occupy them, because if they're even thinking about you at all, they'll stay with you. And that pass will be open. Okay? So let's go to hoop pass option, which should have been, we'll call her Vobia, even though it's not. But this particular girl who right now is just partially out of the screen on the right-hand side should have been in a situation where she had gone to the hoop and put pressure there. Be in a place where you can score from quickly. Make your defenders make a decision who to guard. The other option is she could have come to the free throw zone. She could have come and overloaded one side of the hoop, put 3 players on the left side of the hoop and left 2 on the right side of the hoop, and given it more spacing for the ball handler to operate. So had she not roamed here and went in front of 14, fronted 14, so literally we're going to say that's probably about 4 feet away from where she's supposed to be. If she was in front of 14, could 14 make that read? Not from where we are. See, when I ask you girls to make this type of play where we double the middle, I want 14 to be up and in 5's pocket. Literally a step or a step and a half behind. Because the guard is still going to throw that pass because she isn't handling the pressure well. And it takes away the post teammates' option to front that and screen you on that. They can try. They might have success if they've worked on it. So let's say Vobia, and I use Vobia again as a reference, Vobia would move in front of 14 and front her. Like in our 1-3-1, which we've not spent a ton of time on, but as a center, defensively or offensively, in a 2-1-2, we could even say this is Sophia. Sophia might come around and try to get front position there in front of number 14, putting her on your back so that you have a clear path to control this double team pressure. Does that make any sense? Fronting the defender in this area, don't give them the ability to two-step rob the wing. And 2 steps from here, watch this. This is how athletic this girl is. 1-2, she's in there. 2 steps. She's about 10 plus, maybe 15 feet away. 1-2, boom. Wow. You have to put a wall in front of that. Learning to read defenders does not happen overnight for those who do not practice learning to read defenders. Practice reading defenders and the game will slow down and becomes much easier because you can see the game more clearly. There's lots of ways to handle pressure in every situation, but it starts with having your head up and reading your defense and trying to figure out within 5 seconds, what are they going to try to do next to us? Oh, they're going to try to double team the middle. We need relief on the lanes. Oh, they're going to try to double team the middle. We need to communicate that. Watch the double team in the middle. Watch the double team in the middle. Oh, they're going to try to double team the middle. Well, let's slide one of our post players in front of the robber. Oh, their robbers are up. Well, let's back screen the robbers and backdoor cut to get those open. Oh, they're going to double screen. They're going to double team the middle. I better be good with my V cuts. Hope this helps. Take time to study the defense and learn the little nuances in the defense. The more you watch defense, the more you'll learn how defense play and how you can counter what they're trying to do. All right, girls, I'll see you guys later.